What's going on, everyone? My name is Jeremy. I'm the lead diver for Premier Marine and the West Coast Supervisor. We're here in sunny, beautiful Naples, and today we're going to be PMing my compressor. As you can see, there's a bit of salt burn right up here. See the orange? And we're going to be cleaning out, obviously, the whole thing, the air intake and the filter right here, the bleeder valve, the quick release right here. We'll be cleaning off the other side of the quick release on your airline right here. So the tools you're gonna need, very simple. Water. I have an old t-shirt, rag we'll use, just anything clean. Just to clean off the old salt burn. We have the silicone spray. We have the PV penetrating blaster. And then we have the surface shield. And I have just a light nylon brush just to scrub anything off. First step is to clean the air filter. What we're gonna do is we're not just gonna take this cap off, you have to unscrew the entire housing. The reason why is this housing itself is pretty cheap plastic. The threads on here will start to break, and if you don't unscrew it, they'll start to corrode. So you wanna unscrew the whole thing, make sure the threads inside of here, stick your finger in there, there's no excess plastic, broken plastic, mud, grime, anything of the sort. Go ahead, take your cap off, take a look at the filter itself, make sure it's clean, no debris, it's not burned, doesn't smell like burn. Make sure the housing's all clean. And go ahead and throw it back on there. Leave this off, don't put it back on, and just put it to the side. Next step, after you clean off the compressor, the silicone spray. What you want to do is while the air filter is, remember, has to be off, you want to put the silicone spray inside of there to clean up the airline. All you gotta do is hook it back up. Make sure you take your regulator off. You don't want this on there. You want the air to be free-flowing, and as you've sprayed the silicone in, you want it to go through the entire system and spit out, not into the regulator. You want to spray in 3 places. If you have a Gen 2, you want to spray on both sides of the air fans and in the air intake. If you have a Gen 1, it just has 1 fan. So just in that 1 fan, and in the air intake. The air fan, there's no air intake here. This is the cooling. But the purpose of the silicone spray on the fan itself is to lubricate everything. So when you're ready, go ahead, turn it on. Make sure it's all hooked up. There's not gonna be any pressure on the system. You want it to be free flowing. Be quite liberal with it. Spray that on. You want to leave it for about 3 to 5 minutes. So when it's been about 3 to 5 minutes, go ahead, leave the compressor on. Hook up your regulator. And leave it for an additional 30 seconds. The reason why is you want any excess silicone sprayed through the breather valve right here. You You can feel it and you can see it a little bit. Let it running, make sure it's all out of the system. Once it's coming through the bleeder valve, press the purge button on your regulator to imitate breathing to make sure all the silicone is out of the system. When that's all said and done, go ahead and shut off the compressor. Make sure you purge the line so it's not fully pressurized. Remember, these compressors will not turn on if they're pressurized. When that's all done, wait about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how hot your compressor is, for it to cool down. Because the next step is we're going to be putting on the rust prevention. So as your compressor is cooling down, you're going to take your PB blaster, make sure it has the straw. You're going to spray this behind the fan blades. This is going to coat all the bearings and gears and stuff that the silicone can't reach when the compressor is on. It's also going to spray all the electricals and everything in there because you can't spray the rust preventer can inside with the electricals. This you can. Final step is we're going to be putting the surface shield rust protection on there. About this is quite caustic and it's very, very sticky. And according to the can, the manufacturer, the compressor cannot be energized. So I have it unplugged. Before you spray it on, make sure you put your air intake, the whole housing, back on. Put it on nice and carefully. Remember, it's cheap plastic. You don't want to cross thread the housing. Nice and secure, not too tight. It's on there. Which is all said and done. When you spray this on, there's a few areas you want to avoid. You want to avoid the air intake and the filter. You want to avoid the bleeder valve here. You want to avoid the power switch. And you want to avoid getting it inside. Overspray over the top is fine. You don't want to spray it directly in like we did with the silicone and the PB blaster. Don't get this on you or on your clothes because it will stain and it's not fun. Hold it about 4 to 5 inches away. Don't be too liberal with it. You want a nice even coat. Avoid getting it in. Naples Airport is very busy. Avoid getting it directly into the copper wires and all the wiring in here. Make sure you get the entire compressor. So how often do you do this? I'll tell you. The air filter, I honestly do it multiple times a week. The reason why is Florida is quite humid, as we all know. You want to make sure it's not full of water from the humidity before you turn it on. The compressor will get quite hot when it's in the tub. It may burn water onto the filter. So make sure multiple times a week, pop the cap off, make sure it's nice and clean. The silicone spray, once a week. Preferably the end of the day on a Friday, or if you have time on a Saturday. The rust preventer, the surface shield, I do about once a month. It's very, very sticky, and it will adhere and it will last for a while. However, our job is full of salt water. There will be excess spray, putting gear on it and everything. When you clean it all off, you don't want to just leave it dirty and then put a new set of spray on there. You want to clean it all off. The best way to do it, I found, is Glue Gun. It'll get all of the adhesive, because it will adhere to it. Remove everything, make it nice and clean, then put a new set of spray on there. This entire process takes about 15 minutes. It's not a lot of time. We do that, and we make sure that this compressor, which is 2 years old, still looks relatively new.